What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Games y Más, the podcast where we talk about all things nerdy and pop culture. On today's episode, we are joined by our friend Sierra as we take her to Universal Studios Hollywood, as she's never been there before, so we're going to hear about all her experience as well as her overall thoughts of the park. Bear in mind, though, that we did film and record this episode at CityWalk, so you might be hearing some of the noises and music going around us in the background. As well as we made a special announcement towards the end of the episode, so you're not going to want to miss that. So, pull up a chair, grab some dice, y acompáñame a jugar. And we are here and we're live at CityWalk. All right. I'm so excited, guys. We just got done doing Universal with Sierra. First time ever.
First time ever. It's been a long time coming. I've thought about coming for a while because I've been in LA for a total of 7 or so years now since I came out for college, and I've just always gone to Disney every time I want to go to a theme park.
She's a Disney girl, so
I converted for the day.
We had to get her over here to Universal Studios.
Yeah.
So if you hear a lot of noise going around the background, we're currently at CityWalk and stuff. But super excited to get your thoughts on what you thought of the rides, the park in general, everything like that. We can get going stuff. But before we get started here at Games y Más, we have the Icebreaker questions we like to bring in forward here. So we'll go ahead and ask it. For those of you watching or listening, first of all, thank you guys so much again for listening, and thank you for your support. It means a lot to me. It's been great to get to know some of you guys that have been commenting and supporting the podcast, and thank you again so much for that. But Sierra helped us out, get us running here on our first episode. When we did the first episode, she edited and colorized and did all that good fancy schmancy stuff that you do you set it all up, and she got us running, built the foundation, and thank you so much for that.
Of course, no problem.
You and Henry are the people that made this podcast start running. So
we just took your idea and ran with it. It's all you.
No, I couldn't have done it without you guys. You guys did it. You guys helped me out. You made my vision come true. And kept it going. And I love your counsel, your advice when it comes to you about hey, how do I edit this?
Anytime.
How do I do this? She's a pro. She's great, guys. She's great. And if you have any projects, we'll do a little plug-in right there.
Yes.
We can get you in there. Stuff. But let's get to the icebreaker question here. And that is, first question is, what is your favorite board game of all time? Now, when I say board game, I mean anything. Dice games, card games. Anything, tabletop games you can.
Yeah.
So, favorite board game of all time that you've played. It could be even one that you've played last week. This is my favorite one, or as a kid one. A childhood game one. You can come up with whichever one that comes to your mind. And the second part is video game. Favorite video game of all time. If you got one. If you don't, we can include arcade games. If you like playing a Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, anything like that. We can include. So
okay,
cool.
Go ahead.
I'll let you take it away.
Okay. Of all time for both of those categories is a lot of pressure. I feel like board game. I don't know if it's my favorite of all time, but one of my favorites for sure is Villainous, which is a Disney game.
Yes.
Off-brand for Universal. Sorry. But it's so good because it's technically a board game, but you can play as a different character with your own different objectives and everything every time, and obviously the Disney theming is fun, but it's just good strategy. It's good to play with a group of people, but you don't need a big group. So that's definitely up there for me.
Okay, Villainous is a great game.
Yeah.
It's one of Lydia and I's favorite game to play a lot. We have the expansions. They're still making more expansions.
Yeah, and that's what's fun too, is there's so much to add into it. And I've tried the Star Wars Villainous before, which was also fun. That's even harder.
Really?
Oh my gosh, yeah. They added layers onto it that, in my opinion, are maybe a little unnecessary because it just gets so complicated.
Yeah, all right,
but it is fun. Yeah, they're cool. And I think there's a Marvel one now too. So there's a lot of options.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, you got a lot of options. Great game. Again, Disney. We're at Universal, but it's a Disney game. She'll always be a Disney girl, number one Disney girl.
Always.
Okay, so it's the Villainous, your number one board game to play. Expansions are great and stuff like that. So what about video games? You got any video games you come to mind?
Yeah, video games is probably Mario Kart, which is literally in my shirt.
Hey, there it is, Mario Kart. You got the Mario
today.
Nice.
Team Mario.
Okay, yeah, you got Mario Kart.
Just because I think I've never been a huge video game person, but I had a Wii and a DS growing up, and Mario Kart was the go-to for both of them. And that's another fun one where you can play it by yourself and it's a blast, but I love playing that with friends and family too. And I literally just bought a Nintendo Switch so I can play Mario Kart with people.
Nice.
So
There you go.
It's a classic. That'll never get
for
old.
the ID so she can verse you and probably beat you at Mario Kart.
Oh gosh, yeah. I don't even know what that means yet. I haven't even used the Switch.
There you go. Yeah. You're gonna get all these comments like, what's
Yeah.
your ID? Like, I want to add
I don't even know. I just made a me when I set it up, and that was
There
it.
you go. Well, we'll get that later for that one. But yeah, we'll definitely verse. But Mario Kart, that's a fun one. That's a crazy one to play. To destroy friendships, get mad.
True.
I know one of our
I
friends-
get pretty competitive with it.
Yeah, one of our friends, Alberto, he's been on the podcast. Go check out his episodes; they're really good. Yeah, he gets competitive with those. Yeah, he
Okay.
gets very.
Good to know. I'm gonna have to play him sometime.
Yeah, he gets into it, and then his wife Hannah always beats him, and he gets
yeah.
mad.
Okay, Alberto and Hannah, I'm coming for you guys.
There you go. Ooh,
We're
challenger.
playing Mario Kart
You got
now.
a challenger right there. You got a challenger. Okay, so cool. Villainous and Mario Kart. Okay, good ones. Good ones. So you kind of went both ends. You went Disney and Universal, kind
Yeah,
of.
exactly.
Best
It's
of
all
both
about
worlds.
the
There you
balance.
go. And so yeah. So speaking of Universal, we're at CityWalk here. If you haven't guessed from the atmosphere, it's not my home. But Sierra, like you said in the beginning, this is your first time ever coming to Universal Studios, Hollywood, and checking out the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, how movies are made and stuff, and how you got wet on almost every single ride.
Oh my gosh, that's the first thing we need to talk about. I
Okay.
noticed like 5 rides in that everything was like squirting water at us. I think maybe we rode one thing that didn't have it, but even the last thing we rode was Secret Life of Pets, and I was like joking around like, oh, what are the odds they're gonna have water on this one? And then we got
we got
squirted on
splashed,
that too. So like I don't know why that's their thing here, but I have gotten wet on every single ride.
I feel like the one ride that you didn't get wet on was the ride that you were supposed to get wet on, and that's Jurassic World.
Yeah, well,
Like,
and we
you got
still
little
got some
sprinkled, yeah.
sprinkles, but I did not want the torrential downpour.
Yeah,
on
no,
that
for sure.
one, No.
Yeah, I think the DreamWorks theater one, we didn't get sprayed.
No, I'm
as
pretty
much.
sure it
Did
had
we?
water in the theater. That's
Oh,
why
you
I'm
did? Yes, you are. Yeah,
saying
there's a couple waterfalls we went under. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
Yeah, there
a
is.
weird trend. I don't know what their deal is here.
The Mummy, you get little drops of water on
Yeah.
you.
It's
yeah.
just like it seems so unnecessary in rides like that. But okay.
Did we get wet in Mario? I don't think we got wet in Mario.
I feel like we probably
You
did.
probably, yeah, we're just too enamored with what was going on.
I
so
don't
with that.
know.
So, you've been to CityWalk, obviously, a couple times, so it's not new. You just, like
Yeah.
you were talking about how you like the neon and everything
Yeah.
around us and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a number one spot where it's like, come spend your money here. And
Yeah, totally. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good shopping and food and stuff. It is just a great place to hang out. I should come here more often because I live like 15 minutes away. It's
Yeah, for
so
sure.
close.
the only problem is just parking ticket.
Yeah,
you know.
that's
But if you
true.
got a pass, you know, you can
That's true.
park for free. So.
Plug in for the pass.
So okay, so let's start off with your overall thoughts of the park.
Yeah.
What did you think of the atmosphere of the park? We'll get into the rides in a minute.
Yeah.
But just the overall theming of the parks. What do you think was your overall your takeaways from the whole thing?
Overall, I think it was a super fun day. I think I had told you this when we got here, but like I was setting my expectations pretty low going into it just because like all of the Disney parks are my standard. And so that standard is very high. And so I don't know. I didn't want to put too much pressure on Universal because also like Disney just has a more special place in my heart than all of the IP and characters and everything here do,
Right.
which makes a huge difference. But overall, like it was a lot of fun. I think there were a lot of different types of rides and experiences and movies and lands, and I think what makes it so unique here is that like being in Hollywood, you get like the special essence of like it's about the movies, and especially with the backlot tour, like it's about the behind the scenes kind of stuff. And so I do think I appreciate that. That changes the atmosphere a little bit. Like even right when we walked into the park, it feels like old Hollywood.
Yeah,
and so that kind of differentiates it a bit and gives
Walking
it
down
something
the red
different.
carpet.
Yeah.
Kind of make you feel like you're a star here.
Yeah,
welcome
exactly.
to Hollywood.
You're
Yeah.
special.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I agree with you. I like the atmosphere. It's pretty cool. The different, like you get immersed into different lands, different worlds. Like I think we were talking when we were walking around the park of the Mario world. Like when you first enter it, you're like engulfed in the world. It's cool. Obviously, it gives it away when you're like on the escalator and you see everything out there. Yeah, but when you're inside that, the Mario world, I was blown away with it. Like the Super Nintendo world. Sorry, I should be calling it the right way. Super Nintendo world, guys. Don't correct. I know they're gonna correct me.
I would have done it wrong too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay.
Super Nintendo world. Yeah, it was awesome. You're just walking around, checking out the cool things in the park and riding the ride and stuff like that. It was great. I'll go with what do you think? Would you rate your favorite ride there that you enjoyed the most? What's like something you enjoyed the most? I kind of already know your least favorite ride. But
We talked about that.
Yeah, but we'll go with your favorite
My
ride.
number
Go there.
one. I feel like I don't know. I might rethink this as we keep talking, but right now it's probably between the Mummy and the Harry Potter one, not the little roller coaster. What was the other one?
The Forbidden Journey.
Yeah, Forbidden Journey. I don't know the name of anything. Yeah. And Forbidden Journey, and I think I like them both for different reasons, because the Mummy was like just a good like roller coaster type ride, and it like had the twist of like the going backwards and stuff. So I really thought that was cool. But then the Harry Potter one was a lot more of like a story and an immersive experience. And we kind of talked about before how like I loved the way that it integrated the screens with the practical set pieces. And I think that was done super well in that ride. So I feel like maybe as a ride experience, I was most impressed with that one. But as like a favorite, I don't know if that's the one that I would want to like re-ride the most times. I would probably go back to the Mummy more just for like the thrill of that ride. Yeah. I think that's the thought process
more coastery, more roller coastery.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. And then, all right, we'll reveal what your least favorite ride is. It's a funny one.
My least favorite was the Transformers. No hate to the Transformers themselves. Love those guys.
That ride, man, that ride.
It was all screens, and I don't think it was done well on that ride. It was like the quality of the screens didn't even seem that good. Like things were just kind of blurry and moving too fast, and there was too much going on screen. And so I didn't feel like I was following much of a story, which I think I'm going to keep bringing up. Like the story in all of these is so important.
Disney girl, you like the story.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what makes theme parks like this so unique too, is they're driven by story and by these characters and things that you want to be involved with because you like them as a fan. And so I don't feel like the Transformers one did that well.
Yeah.
And I just think it's weird too that it's also like very heavily military themed, which like, and I love the military. I come from an Air Force family, so like that's not it. But I think, yeah,
like,
just like it was weird that they were like in military uniforms, and then they have like generals trying to like tell us what we needed. Oh, but then that was the other thing. The robots on the ride kept making fun of us. They were like, you humans are weak and you don't know what you're doing and you're not strong and you're basically going to die out there on the field, but we're sending you anyway.
But good luck. Yeah.
They had zero confidence in us. So
yeah, that was they're not good at pep talks.
No,
they're not good at pep talks at all.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that was so funny.
They were not setting us up for success there.
You know what's funny though is like I don't really notice that, so I'm just like waiting in line, and it's funny because like I was just waiting in line, and I just hear you like, wow, these people are making fun of us. I'm like, what? And then I listen in more, and I'm like, oh, they are making fun of us. Like they're like
three different characters too. It wasn't just one.
Like, we're just meant for training, but I guess we could just send you guys.
Yeah, that's literally it. They were like, we have this huge battle going on and this really big threat, but like we'll just send you guys out. Like do your best, I guess.
Good luck, though, you know.
I don't feel confident in that.
Like, I feel like I'm gonna die on this ride. Like,
honestly,
you guys don't have any. You don't even have confidence in yourself. Like, you don't think everything's going downhill from here. So yeah, it was. I agree with you. Like that, it's not one of my favorite rides because when I first rode it, I thought it was cool, this integration. But after a while, I'm like, yo, there's so many screens, there's so much stuff going on. We're turning back and forth, going back and forth, going like. I was just like, yo, like, can we slow down for a minute here? Like, just give him the old smart guy. I'm tired. Like, I want to go home. So yeah, it's not one of my favorite rides to ride here. I'll give you my top favorite ride is the Jurassic World ride. I love that one. Well, it was Jurassic Park back then, but. I just love it because I love dinosaurs. I love riding the dinosaurs, seeing the dinosaurs and how big they were and immersive. And I like the story a little bit. I mean, it's not really well written out what the story is, but it's like you kind of get the gist of it.
It's a classic Jurassic Park story, though. It's the same thing. Like, you're going to go see the dinosaurs, something goes wrong, and now you're in trouble, and the dinosaurs are coming after you. Yeah, so there is a story. It's the classic storyline they've done every single movie.
Nothing new here. Nothing to see on this ride.
It works for them. You can't blame them.
Yeah, they have like 6 movies out. So,
it's successful.
Exactly. So, for me, it was the Jurassic World ride. What you think about the Nintendo World?
Nintendo World was super cool. I feel like we both walked through there and we're just like really impressed with how immersive that area was. Because like you said earlier, a lot of parts of the park you can see from the other areas and lands you're in, which like, not to compare it to Disney again, but like Disney is very intentional about separating things off so that you are in one area at a time. You feel like you're fully immersed in that one place. And that's just harder to do here. I think because it's on multiple levels on this like hillside and things are very close together and you're passing through smaller areas more quickly. But I feel like the difference with what is it called? Super Nintendo World.
Super Nintendo World, yeah.
I'm going to say something different every time.
Mario World, Super Nintendo World, Super Mario World.
Yeah, the difference with Super Nintendo World, though, is like you literally walk through that green tube into this area that's like more or less kind of spherical, and so you are enclosed in that spot. And I think that's so successful for them because you feel like you're stepping into the video game then, which is really unique.
I feel like that's the land that we kind of spent the most time in.
Well, not by choice. The line was just long.
Well, the line was long, but I felt like also we kind of slowed down there because we're like, let's observe everything. That was really cool. Like I said, the detail that they did on there. When we were there, I told you that like I compared it to the Star Wars land, the Black Spire. I think it's called Black Spire Outpost or something. With the detail at Disneyland, again, bring up Disneyland, how the Star Wars land area is very detailed. They put a lot of work into that land. And going into the Mario world, I'm like, Super Nintendo World, I feel like they put that same amount of attention to detail with all that stuff. And I thought it was cool. It was really cool to see everything. I wish there was more rides. You know, I like that the Mario Kart ride was really cool. But yeah, I was like, I want more. You know, I want a little bit more. Which we could talk about the Mario Kart ride. Like that ride was a pretty cool ride.
Yeah.
I didn't expect. I went there with no expectation. I didn't know what to expect. It was our first time going there, and like I liked it. It was cool.
It was super unique. I mean, and as a Mario Kart fan, like obviously that was so fun just to experience, but it's like multi-layered too, because you're in the car going through these different scenes and like seeing what's happening on screen, going through different like races and stuff from the games, but then you also have that aspect of like an AR VR component on the like what do you want to call that?
Visor,
like your visor in front of you. So then that adds another layer too of like you can see different things with the characters and objects depending on where you're looking with that. But then there's also the competitive element of like you're trying to get the coins, you're trying to throw your shells to get more coins. And so there's a lot going on that ride, I think in a good way where it like works to its benefit. And like that one I would re-ride again and again and like pay attention to different things.
I noticed also that obviously you have like a steering wheel, you can steer like that. Obviously when you steer, it's not gonna like direct the cart. But what I did notice is that whenever it asks you to turn, if we all did at the same time, the vehicle would react. So like the longer we didn't turn, the vehicle would be more like this, and then eventually it turned. Kind of like Smuggler's Run at Disney, where it's like it tells you to push this button, and if you don't do it, eventually we'll get to it. But the more like you do it, the more your car will react to your turning. And you get more coins. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and I didn't even notice that. So I think that's the thing where like there's so much to that ride. You could do it a few more times and like notice something different every time, or like fix your strategy and beat your high score and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on, and it was cool. Like I thought it was pretty cool to check out and see and that stuff like that. But
and we also didn't have like the wristbands for that interactive element for the whole land, so I think that would change the experience too. If you do have that wristband and you're playing all those like other mini games or whatever else going on in that area, because like you said, there's not another ride, which would be cool to see like maybe in the future. But maybe also that wristband like makes a big difference for people who want to spend more time in that part of the park, and like that just wasn't one of our goals, but good for them.
Good for them. It was awesome. So. Yeah, going on those rides. Did you find yourself kind of comparing to like Disney a little bit? We're like, this is kind of like it was a little bit like Pirates of the Caribbean. Or this is kind of like a little bit. Do you think there's maybe a ride that stood out to you at Universal that it was like I think it's a little bit better than its comparison to so Disneyland ride?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think in my head when I've been comparing all day, I'm comparing rides on like a few different scales. Like storyline is obviously a huge one to me, like the way that story is just approached in every ride, but then also the like ride mechanics and the type of ride that it is, I think are really interesting. And so I don't know. I almost feel like going back to that Harry Potter one that I thought was really cool. The fun part of that, where it's like you're going from these scenes where it's a screen to practical effects. I think there's different parts of Disney rides that are similar to that. Like obviously the being in front of a screen is most similar to like something like Soarin', or even on the new Runaway Railway where you're like your car is parked in front of something for a second, you're like going up and down with the waterfall and stuff, but then again you turn back out and go to practical stuff. Like I think it has similar elements to those, but what was impressive about the Harry Potter one was like that felt like something different. And when you turn back to the practical effects, it's like done in a way that makes the spiders feel more like a jump scare because you don't really know where you're turning. Like you lose your sense of orientation for a second. Right. So I don't know. That one felt super successful. Okay. I feel like. Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't like one ride that I was like, oh, this is exactly like such and such at Disney. What was funny though was when we were on the Simpsons ride and they're making fun of just a lot of theme park stuff in general on that one. Yeah. And there's the one like really brief scene in that one where you're kind of going through like a dinosaur version of the Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. And that was just such a weird joke. But like, I don't know, it's kind of a cool callback. I like that. Yeah,
there is a lot of similarities on the Simpsons ride where they're making fun of like Pirates of the Caribbean and they make fun of SeaWorld and some other cool fun rides. But that's how the Simpsons is. The Simpsons,
exactly.
They do a lot of that stuff.
It makes sense for them.
Yeah. When it came to shows, sadly we didn't get to see the Waterworld show, guys. We were trying so hard to get over there. I mean, we just got done. We're trying to time everything because the park opens up at 10. It opened up at 10, closes at 7. The last show, Waterworld, was at 4 o'clock. But to maximize our time, prioritize the things that we wanted to do, and then to get everything going, we decided, all right, we had a choice to make. We either go watch Waterworld and try to book it for the studio tour, or do the studio tour and then book it over to Waterworld. So we decided to go with studio tour. As soon as we got off, we just booked it. We booked it over to get to Waterworld. But unfortunately, we were a little too late, which is odd because we got there like around 4:10, 4:11. Usually they're still kind of sitting people down, so I don't know why they closed it. So Universal, get that thing going.
Just must have missed it.
Yeah, it was sad, but I mean.
But that was the only thing we didn't do today. Like we hit everything else, so it was a very successful day.
But I count that as a successful day, and also count that as like a you need to come back kind of thing.
That's true. Now that I missed one thing, I guess I do.
But now we can also go back to Mario Kart and you can observe more of that.
That's true.
Get more competitive. We'll bring Lydia next time for sure. Get her going on that. But with that being said, with the shows, from the quality of the shows that we got to see, kind of like what were your overall thoughts of the?
Yeah,
I think we only saw like 2 shows. I guess.
Yeah, let's recap here. We watched the like holiday light show in the Harry Potter land on the castle, and so that was really cool. And then we caught like a hot second of the raptor in the Jurassic Park area. I don't know that you would really call it a show, but it's like an exhibit. I don't know. Did we really see any other shows? Was it?
I'm counting the Kung Fu Panda one as kind of a show.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, like an indoor experience. That's interesting. I feel like the Kung Fu Panda one feels like, I don't know, an attraction to me. Okay. Like, I would put that kind of in a separate category. And that was kind of cool because it was, mostly like you're watching stuff on a screen, but also like your seat's moving around and it's kind of like 4D theater-esque and stuff. Yeah. So that feels, kind of like unique in its own way. And I feel like that kind of seems most similar to how PhilharMagic is at Disney. Yeah. But the one thing that I've kind of noticed about some of the like rides in that show in general here are that I don't know if Universal is always confident in the reasoning for why you are sitting in a seat to watch whatever you're watching. Yeah. For example, with the Kung Fu Panda show, it's like we're in this theater watching what's very obviously a show. Like they're even presenting it that way up front in the pre-show. But then on screen, they're going through this like actual adventure that is carrying out through the walls of our theater. And so like thematically, I don't know if that makes sense to me, and like maybe if I sat on it more it would click, but like that felt kind of odd. And then also when we went on the Despicable Me ride, that's another case where you're like in seats that are moving, but you're like more or less watching a screen. And then that one was also odd because it's like we start in Gru's house and then thematically end up in this room where we are like turning into the minions. But then again, we're just like watching something happen. It doesn't feel like there's a reason for us to be sitting in those rooms. So that felt like just a little disconnected for me, because even before we walked into Despicable Me, you were like, oh, this is kind of like Star Tours, which like is similar. But I think the thing I love about Star Tours is that like you are going through boarding areas in this intergalactic like airport, and you have a reason to be in that Star Cruiser, and then everything you're seeing is an extension of the screen and like of your Star Cruiser, and so that thematically makes a lot more sense. Whereas like both the DreamWorks show and Despicable Me were kind of like, I don't know, why are we sitting here like watching things happen. So those kind of feel unique in their own way.
I probably brought your expectations high. I'm like, it's like Star Tours. Like, oh, it's not
no, but I think like the ride type is similar still.
When I say Star Tours, I think of like that simulation.
Yeah.
Like simulation, kind of like messing with your sensories a little bit of like you're going fast, you're going slow, kind of like that. Star Tours, like I said, I like Star Tours. It gets me nauseous too. That ride gets me a little bit of like okay, let's calm down, especially since it's 3D. But like I said, with Despicable Me, it's kind of more of like thematically wise, like story wise. Like I can understand where we're going with story wise. We're going to meet Gru. We're gonna go and be minions and then work for him, and all the stuff goes chaos. Like I said, it's kind of like Temple Run, kind of like how you saw it was just a straight line. It's like a linear straight pattern. There wasn't churning. There wasn't like it just went straight and stuff went down. You went up and down. Things went crazy, but like you just kept going straight.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of figured, I was kind of like,
Yeah, and I mean, the story of what's happening on screen totally makes sense and like connects with the pre-show. But if you're getting like really picky about it, it's like that's not all happening in the same room. So how does it make sense that we're like sitting there, kind of thing? But it was still super cute. Like I love Despicable Me and the Minions and Gru and stuff. So it was still fun.
Yeah. Do you feel like we kind of talked briefly about it when we met your friend too over there with the. This park is not very kid-friendly-esque when it comes to, like, riding rides. I think, like, maybe show-wise, like, doing shows, yes, for the kids. When it comes to rides, like, there's only, like, 2 rides that, like, or maybe 3 that I consider, like, taking your kid to go ride.
Yeah, I mean, I am very curious of, like, what age ranges of children are going on all these rides, because, like, I think it's definitely, like, family-friendly, but a lot of the rides either have, like, much scarier content than, like, the Disney parks do, or, like, more thrills that they literally can't go on. Like, even, I think it was after we got off the Simpsons ride, I was like, that was so, like, not really for children. Because, like, there's guns and, like, super a lot of violence. And, like, it just doesn't feel like,
chaos,
it's, like, super chaotic.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's kind of interesting to me the way that, like, they market this park, I guess. Because, like, it is for families, but also even the rides that are like not super intense physically are maybe like slightly more mature, like higher end of PG, like subject matter. Not that it's like super intense. Like obviously as adults it's all fine, but I don't know. It's just I'm used to Disney being like very family friendly and like very approachable for everyone. And here I was like, oh, it's a little edgier.
A little darker.
A little dark.
Darker. You get the nice grit going. It's like if you go to Universal and like every ride is Avengers, the Tower of Terror type of ride where it's like it's a little dark and then there's some drops, but you can ride it. It's cool. You'll be fine.
Like I think we literally got off one ride. I don't remember what it was now, and a mom had to tell her kid. She's like, "It's not real. Like it's okay." I think it was maybe Harry Potter.
It might have been No, it might have been. I know what you're talking about. It was one of the kids. I don't know if was it the.
I don't remember. It was something like a little dark and like not really scary, but just kind of dark for kids.
It's not Mario. It wasn't Mario. It was a studio tour.
Oh,
those 2 kids in front of us, and Mom's like, it's not real. You can open up your eyes.
Yeah, like especially after we got out of that, like the Fast and Furious, and the King Kong or whatever it was. Yeah.
So remember the King Kong 360 3D one? After we're done, like, there's like a kid in front of us. He was covering his eyes the whole time, and the mom's like, "You can open them up. You can open it." I was like, "Oh man, yeah." It is pretty scary as a kid when you see like
the other huge like monsters all around you, which was very cool. Like I did think that was a fun element to that one that like I didn't know was part of that ride. But even that, it's like, oh, just take your kid on this nice, peaceful tram ride around the studios, and then like no, he's getting terrorized by monsters.
T-Rexes are gonna eat you. King Kong's gonna send you. Beware, hide yourself. Like,
no big deal.
Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, so speaking of the studio tour, what'd you think? What'd you think about that studio tour?
I loved the studio tour because I mean I love movies and movie making in general, and I think the only other studio tour I've ever done was Warner Brothers, and that was years ago. So it was really cool to see the backlots here at Universal. I've only ever been to the Voice Studio before, so a lot of that was new to me, and I think it's just always fun to see new locations, whether they're on a lot or not, and you're like, oh, this movie was filmed here, and this show that I really like was filmed here, and just to see like kind of the behind the scenes of like that movie magic is always so fun.
Of course,
I super appreciate that. So I mean, obviously that's just cool to see, but also like the tour as a ride and attraction was like longer than I expected and had more elements, especially with those other like simulation kind of experiences. So overall, I feel like that's a really cool thing to see, especially for people who are like tourists and aren't from around here and don't work in film, and like that's not the everyday normal to them. Like that's super special.
Interesting. Yeah. I love the studio tour. Right now I'm a little bitter towards it because I'm like, you made us late to Waterworld. I wanted to watch Waterworld. You made me late to Waterworld.
That's true.
Could have missed out on one of the greatest shows ever. Better than Fantasmic. I'm saying that. Better than Fantasmic.
Oh my gosh. I'm a big Fantasmic fan. Those are fighting
Better than
words.
Fantasmic.
Oh no. I'm about to look this up on YouTube tonight.
It's a rated R Fantasmic. No.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just joking. You can't compare both because it's different. Because Fantasmic's more about spectacular shows, like going through like the movies and showing some cool stuff of like the dream worlds stuff of Mickey. And Waterworld is just like stunts and action and violence and fires and escaping. But there's a story to it, which is really cool. Which I mean, man, I wish you'd have seen it. I wish you'd have seen it. But again, we're gonna take her back. We're
gonna have to now.
Part 2 of the podcast, Waterworld. This is all
we just come for Waterworld.
We came for Waterworld. That's all we came for. The studio tour was fun. Jurassic World, I loved it. How'd you like the animatronics for the Jurassic World with the T-Rexes?
They were super good. I also love Dinosaur.
There you
so
go.
I was excited for that going into it. The dinosaurs were huge. Like the two big ones at the end were a lot larger and like more lifelike than I expected in a very cool way. I did expect the ride to be scarier, and I had talked to you in the queue for this about how like the dinosaur ride in Animal Kingdom scares the crap out of me in the best way. Like it's so fun, and I love going on that ride. But so I expected this one to be like a little bit more intense like that.
Yeah.
And I do think, I mean, I loved that ride, and the scale of it being so big really makes you feel like you could be in a world where like there are dinosaurs like running around and coming out of this park and everything. And so I think that was like a very convincing element of it. But like going back to the story for that ride, I think it like fell a little anticlimactically, and it ends with those two dinosaurs fighting, but like I as a viewer or guest or whatever like didn't really feel like I was in the middle of that, or like I was put in danger before we like skirt out and go down the hill. So I feel like either having like that conflict start sooner and we like watch that play out before we leave, or putting us like right in the middle of that and like we have like a jump scare or something like when we go down the hill, I think would have felt more effective.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
But overall, like the dinosaurs are great.
Yeah. I think it's hard to do like a big like fighting technique for that ride because like those things are massive. Those guys are so it's like, man, you have so much elements. But I agree with you. Like I think it could have been cool. I mean, there's a ride in Japan that's a Jurassic Park ride at Universal, where it's like more like a river rapids, kind of like the ride at California Adventure.
Oh yeah.
The Grizzly River Rapids, yeah. So in that ride, in the Jurassic Park ride, before you go on the drop, you're like being pulled up on an elevator. But as you pulled up the elevator, the T-Rex is coming down right here, and so you're about to get eaten. So you get pulled up, and then you go on the drop.
Oh yeah, that's
so you're like, oh snap! So you see the T-Rex coming down. You're getting closer, and you're like, oh no, the T-Rex is gonna get me.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that was pretty cool. They get those dinosaurs get pretty close because they're like in there in the midst of it. But like I said, with Jurassic World, it's what you got. You know, they had to go through a lot of refurbishments. Like when they first brought out the ride when we rode it, they weren't even fighting. You just saw that the Indominus Rex comes out, and then the T-Rex comes out there, and you're like, all right, cool. Like they didn't even do. So they had to fix it. I think they released it too soon. I think they released the ride too soon, so they were like, oh, let's fix our mistakes and stuff like that.
Fair.
But I think they could work on it a little bit more. I agree with you. Like a little bit more. There's some dead zone areas where you're just kind of like on the boat, like, all right, this is cool. We're just riding, whatever.
Definitely.
On that. The Mummy ride, like I said, it's a fun ride to ride. It's just It's just too short, man.
It did go by very quickly, which like most coasters do, but it was really short. And I think it's an interesting one that you're going through the beginning of that ride very like cautiously and slowly, and like it's not even really a build up. It's just kind of like, oh, nice little tour through these like mummy caves or whatever, and then like all of a sudden you are off and you're like going through it. So I don't know, maybe there's like a way to extend like the beginning or like make it like ramp up and build up or something.
It's like I told you, like the one in Florida, 10 times better.
Yeah, good to know.
You go stop, you go, you stop, you go. Yeah, this one is like, welcome to the mummy, this witches. Now you're going to die. And you just go,
for real,
like,
which is super fun because like I love roller coasters. And so that like acceleration is cool. But then, it's so short. And by the time you get to the wall or whatever, and I didn't know we were going backward.
Yeah, I specifically did tell her that we were going to go backward just so she can experience it.
Yeah, which was super fun. Great surprise. But so we get to that wall, and for a second I was like, wow, you said it was short, but I didn't think it was going to be that short. And then I was like, oh, no, this is like for sure a dead end. Like we're going to end up going backwards. But then even like by the time you go backwards, it ends and you're like, oh, that like went by too fast. Like I wish there would have been more because it was good. Yeah.
Did you not feel like the little beetles coming through you, like or
what?
You didn't feel those?
No.
Oh, I was wondering because
there's beetles.
So once you stop, the little scarabs, you see like the scarabs on the wall, and they start like hitting you on the leg, like the little start spraying you.
Like the ride pokes you or what?
Yeah, like on the bottom of your leg.
What the heck?
Yeah, I don't know if you felt it. I thought you would say something about that because we were talking about the Bugs Life ride, how you hate how it pokes you, the little bugs come crawling.
I hate it.
So I was like, when you were saying that, we're in line, we're like, oh, she's gonna hate the scarab part because it's gonna be like,
God,
I'm weird that you didn't feel it. I felt it in my legs. I was like, oh, chill.
Oh, dang, they got you and they skipped over me, I guess.
They did a good job with that one because it feels like tiny little things hitting you like at once, and I was just like, oh, okay.
That sounds awful. I would have hated that.
I was surprised you didn't hear. Okay, gotta write it again. We gotta write.
Nope, I think I'm good.
You're like, never mind. I bring that down to my bottom of my list of rides I didn't like.
That would have changed my opinion, maybe.
I should have said anything. I should have.
Oh no!
I should have said anything. Like, just write this right. Just write it one more time. That would be great. Okay. And then we'll close it off with the Secret Life of Pets ride that we did. It was a cute little ride.
It was super cute.
Cute dark ride.
And you haven't even seen that movie, so.
I know. I haven't seen that movie, and like I read it, I'm like, oh, this
looks nice.
Good for that.
I mean, I watched it when it first came out, and I don't even remember a lot of it, but like the general gist is the pets anyway, so you don't really like need to know what's going on.
Yeah, I just don't know the lore or whatever. Like the main character, I don't even know the main character's name. So
I don't either.
It was just funny. People, like kids, were like, "Oh, it's so and so." I was like, okay.
That's just like a cute one to go through and just kind of sit back and like take in all the stuff that's going on because there's a lot of pets in that one.
Would you,
lot to see.
With that ride versus Monsters Inc., which one would you go with for more?
I do think this one had a lot more elements to observe than Monsters Inc. does. Yeah. I'm a big Pixar and Monsters Inc. fan, and so love those guys. But I mean, that ride isn't anything super crazy, and it's a recycling of the movie ride that was there before anyway. So they did what they could with that one. It's like that's also cute to go through and just go through the storyline and stuff. But I think with the pets, there's more pets to be looking at and more scenes to go through. And I don't know, maybe just because that was a super new experience, it felt a little more exciting right now. But
cool, definitely, I love Monsters Inc. It was fun. I mean, I used to watch the movie, like I would beat that movie to death, watching it in DVDs, commentaries, the making of, everything. I just like John Goodman. I like his voice. Yeah. He's a really cool guy. And the voice of Mike Wazowski. I forgot his name. Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal. I love Billy Crystal. He's a funny guy.
Great cast,
Yeah, great cast. And so I love that ride. But I would lean more towards Secret Life of Pets because it's more interactive. I mean, you're a pet. You're like a cool little doggy. And you're moving around. Yeah.
I mean, I think in Secret Life of Pets is comparable to any dark ride that's just going through the story of the movie. Although I guess with this one, if I, again, don't remember a lot from the movie, but I think the storyline of the movie itself was a little bit more involved, where like at this one, the ride it had a twist where like at the end, the pets are trying to get us as pets adopted. And so like that felt like a continuation of the story then too, which is also different from other dark rides where you're just going through like the scenes and songs or whatever of a movie.
Right.
So that was kind of unique too. They added a little twist at the end.
That's cool. Okay. So we'll close it off here with this. We'll go final thoughts. Final thoughts of Universal. Are you coming back? Are you kind of like, hey, this is a good one and done. I saw everything I needed. I broke my streak of not going to Universal. I'm not a first timer anymore, or you kind of like, I wouldn't mind coming back, and what a time being. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall I'm super glad I did it. And I feel like now that I've experienced it, I don't think I'm like jumping to do it again. I think like if I did have a pass at some point, it would be fun to just be able to like come in the evenings with people and hop on like one or two of those rides that were my favorite. But I mean, I think just because this is a park that doesn't have like IP and characters and things that I'm super excited about, it's like, I wouldn't come here just for like the atmosphere in the same way that I go to Disney just for an evening, just to like hang out. And I don't know, they're different experiences. So I would definitely come back at some point, but I do feel like I've done everything except for the Water World.
Water World, yeah, we gotta come back.
But, like,
Water World.
if we had done that today, I would feel like, okay, I did it all. Like I experienced everything I need to. Like I'm pretty set for now.
I would agree with you, like with the passes. I mean, I would say passes are a bit cheaper than Disney, so
For sure.
yeah, just FYI on that one.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a pass, the gold pass, comes with parking, get good days. Even the cheapest one, you get a lot of days.
Yeah.
You get I think more days than the SoCal, at Disney.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, the
For sure.
Disneyland blockout dates are going to kill you.
They're like,
but
I hope you like coming on Tuesdays every other month.
Literally, yeah. But I do.
I'll go.
Yeah.
It's just the drive. The drive to Disneyland.
That's true. I
is
mean,
killer.
we're both closer to Universal here, so
Right
it
around the
makes,
corner.
Yeah, it makes more sense just to like be able to come here for an evening. But I don't know. I think the thing that I love a lot of things about Disneyland, but like the fun about just going there for an evening is like there's so many different places in both of the parks here in California, at least, where like you can just hang out in an area. Like Cars Land is one of my favorite areas, and that in itself is just so immersive and unique and just so big. Like everything there is bigger than here, and so there's just so many more areas where you can like just chill and just grab dinner and like don't even need to ride anything, and other things to do. Like I feel like we didn't really see other activities and things here, and you mentioned that like when you came more as a kid there were more other things going on around the park, and so like maybe that would have made it like a stronger compelling case to spend more time here.
I feel like as a younger kid and before then, like there was more stuff to interact with, more things to watch, more stuff. Now it's just like 2-3 shows and then come ride these rides and then you're done, stuff like that. Which I agree with you. Like I said, I love both parks. I love Disney. I love Universal. Universal has more of a special place for my heart because I told you how I used to come. My dad used to take me every year for my birthday. Come check it out. I love and so I have that love for it. But I love Disneyland because like I like the story. I love the lores of the rides that you can go to, Space Mountain, the thrills and stuff like that. It has a bit of everything that you can ride. I wish it was a little bit more thrilling, like more like Mummy-esque ride, thrilling roller coaster rides. But I'll take what I can. They're cool and stuff like that. But thank you again. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for allowing us to be part of the journey.
Oh my gosh, this is a big day for me.
It was, yes, it was awesome. I was looking forward to this episode. But before we end it, we do have a special announcement that I was telling you about, guys listening here, is that we're doing a giveaway.
Woo!
Yeah, a little raffle here. Someone is generous enough to donate a $100 gift card to Amazon. If we can get this video to 1,000 likes.
Let's go.
If we can get this video to 1,000 likes, we would do a raffle for all our subscribers there. So all you got to do is just click on that subscribe button, click that like button, share this video, share with everyone, have them like it and stuff like that, and we'll get you inside the raffle for a $100 gift card. But here at Games of Must, we're going to match that. So now it's going to be a $200 gift card to Amazon. Of whatever you want to buy. So, we
buy a lot of things with $200 on Amazon.
Yeah, $200 you can actually. You can. So
you can get literally anything on Amazon.
Exactly. So don't miss the opportunity. Let's get this video to 1,000 likes. Share it with everyone you can. Subscribe to the channel so we can get you inside that raffle because we're going to be doing that little wheel thing with all the subscribers to give you guys this. So we want to do this as soon as possible. I said as soon as this video hits 1,000 likes, we will do that raffle. So it depends on you guys. So how long it takes. Hit that like button. Subscribe, and we'll get that going with the $200 Amazon gift card, guys. So remember, 1,000 likes. We just need this video to get to 1,000 likes.
That's nothing.
It's doable. Yeah, people are asking for like 2,000, 3,000 likes on the video. I'm just asking for 1,000.
1,000's easy.
I'm just a humble podcast.
Yeah, you've got 1,000 friends, right? Just hit them all up.
Yeah. And for those of you guys that are listening on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon. All you gotta do is just go to YouTube. Go to YouTube real quick, click that subscribe, click that like button, and you're in. and you're in. That's all you got. You don't even have to rewatch the whole episode. Just click it and then continue listening if you like on the podcast. So yeah, guys, 1,000 likes. We can do that. I believe it. You guys are awesome. You guys are great. I love the support. Sierra, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
It was fun. I had a good time shooting here. We're actually filming here in CityWalk. I never thought we'd actually do it, but it's pretty cool.
So cool.
Dude, you got the lights around us, got the music playing in the background, Christmas.
It's a little Taylor Swift right now. Shout out Lydia.
Is it Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
We gotta end this. We gotta end this. This is Taylor Swift. We gotta end this. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us and watching us as we filmed over here at CityWalk. It was awesome. Sierra, again, thank you so much for joining us. Y nos vemos. Para la próxima.